Yeah. Yeah. So rabbit hole, we've already started. We already started talking about money today and Bitcoin and everything else. And cash is no longer king. And I don't even know like the trading posts. I actually was reading something about that a while ago about how the invention of money wasn't actually supposed to be like the book was talking about
Mhm.
something that it was channeled through about how money was kind of like our downfall because money started kind of like the evil and the control in the world because if you look at numerology wise, the last 1,000 years have been about control and power and war and jewels and whatever empires, all of this stuff. I mean, even longer, I guess I would say, than 1,000 years, but you can really see it numerology wise, the difference. Such a
Well,
difference.
look at we've had the conversation about the Bible too, and how and women's dresses didn't have pockets in it because they could carry trinkets and witchcraft around in their pockets. And it was all about power and control and fear. I mean,
Yes,
it's changed over the last 2,000 years. So how do you trust anything that people actually say at this point?
right. And isn't that amazing? Like, that's probably why we get so excited now. Like, look, my dress has pockets.
My little girls, they have on all every time I see pockets in their dresses, I'm like, stones,
So,
crystals, trinkets,
yes.
little limb bound tree limb string things to invoke whatever you want to. Yeah, I mean, it's totally fun.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess that's why maybe like we didn't have pockets for so long, and that's probably why we started stuffing stuff in our bras because, well, shit.
Where else am I
We're
supposed
gonna
to
go.
store anything?
Is that why we have the pocket in the underwear? Just keep it there.
That's kind of,
Nobody's gonna
yeah.
find it.
Hey, when I worked in the ER in Milwaukee, we found some very interesting things shoved up ladies' privates as their storage.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
Yes, for the lack of graphic details, I will just leave it at that. But yeah, when you
Have you
had
been?
someone come in
Oh,
and
go ahead.
say, "Oh, I'm having vaginal pain," and you're like, "Oh God, no, no, please no.
I'm gonna need more coffee.
I'm gonna need more of something."
Well, and all the memes too that are coming around right now about making sure things have a flared base. They're using all like the Christmas.
I saw that one of my friends posted, and then another one posted. She's like, "I will never look at those ceramic like Christmas trees ever the same." What's that, princess?
So this is our health PSA this year to be careful where you are hiding your trinkets and your goods.
Preferably not in your goods.
That's right. Right. Let's be safe. We're going to be safe and healthy this holiday season.
Oh my word.
I'm crying.
Already.
Yeah,
Already.
right. Oh my Lord. I just can't get over the pocket thing though. Like that had slipped my mind about like women not being able to have pockets and stuff. It's just like recently. And then you think
No,
about
child.
purses and
What are you doing?
all of that.
Destructo. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was have you seen Agatha on Disney yet? I think that had pockets, something about pockets in it. And then when you showed us the what was it, the witch documentary? That
Oh
one
yeah.
talked about pockets too.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was really interesting watching that documentary on Disney because they were talking about how the hats. I had looked up, I don't well, it had inspired me to look up where the hats came from, which is hats. And it
Yeah.
actually derived from like the Jewish people because they used to wear these tall cylinder type hats. There's so many things that are derived back from that culture and I'm like, man, they really got like their Cheerios got pissed in. Like they really did. So much stuff came from their culture and stuff like that that had just been like completely caballished, I get, like whatever word that is. It. um and made it into something evil, and it's not. Even like the pentagram, for instance,
Yeah.
that wasn't originally used for evil. And the funny,
Neither was the Nazi symbol. If you
right,
you find it all over the world long before Nazis ever existed.
yeah, none of that stuff was supposed to be evil. It was all over time churned into something else, which is kind of sad. And I had my shower curtain for Halloween this year. It said, "Please do not summon demons in the bathroom." And it had the pentagram on there, and Colin comes out and he's like, "Mom, why is there a pentagram in the bathroom?" And I was like, "I don't know why. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a shower curtain. It's not really supposed to be evil." And he's like, "You're going to be opening portals in the bathroom." And I said, "Wouldn't that be some shit to have something pop out of you in the shower while you're stuck with your pants down?"
How do I fight this while I'm in the shower in a very vulnerable position here?
That's why you hide your crystals in that one area.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yes.
Your pants can be down, you still have access to them.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you ever think about that though? Like, it's just an odd thing. Like, if you really were to be going after somebody, catch them with their pants down, because what are they gonna do? They ain't going anywhere fast.
No.
Oh my gosh, it's out on the internet now. It's out on the internet. People don't use that tip. Oh, yeah, but today I kind of wanted to do like a continuance of the last Sunday's talk. And I'm wondering, I don't have my phone down here, and I haven't had, there was a whole bunch of people that were gonna jump on, and I don't see any messages or anything that have been popping up on here. But I kind of wanted to talk about like the weird stuff. Like, let's talk about the aliens. Let's talk about all that stuff, because my personal feelings on those whole situations is we'd be kind of naive to think that we're the only people in ever in space and all of that. Like, we're curious beings, and I know damn well if we had our little spaceships like the Jetsons and we would be buzzing over to other planets to see what's going on.
Oh yeah.
So I would think it would be kind of just naive to think that we don't have visitors here. And who's to say that they aren't walking around with us? Like, I think it is 100% possible. And there was something that I read about bells and how some of these alien life forces that are among us are actually like reptilian, and they're walking, this is really weird, they were walking among us, and it was an old belief that the bells that we have on churches and you hang above doors for witchy stuff, all of that was meant to keep evil out, and these reptilians were supposed to be evil. And that was like where the big bells actually were, supposedly they came from. I was like, oh, that's good. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know if I necessarily believe that there's reptilians walking among us, but I mean, honestly, anything is possible, right? What if it's like your aunt? And then hanging a bell above your door for Christmas, and people, you can see who's just hanging out outside all day and who's deciding to come into the house or not.
Well, if you've ever heard of Billy Carlson,
I
he
don't know.
is he is a physicist, absolutely brilliant, but some of his takes on things are very similar. Like we actually are from alien people that are like demigod type of things, and we're an essence, and that's why humans hunt for gold so readily, is because other planets needed the gold and our planet had it. So I think it's called, what did he call them, the Anunnaki,
Yes.
something like that. It's super interesting. You're kind of like, oh yeah, I could see some of that.
Uh-huh.
Totally weird, but yeah, huh,
That
interesting.
it's really funny that you're talking about that, because in the books that I've been reading with Ra is we do come from different planets. And It does talk about, interestingly enough, that like it says basically kind of like our souls came from different planets, and it did say that the original beings in 3D here on this planet did evolve from monkeys. But but there were others that came from Jupiter and a couple of other planets, and like Reiki, for instance, and that culture is actually from another planet. And I also, about the gold, like the Egyptians with the gold and stuff like that, they needed that because the frequency and stuff that it produces. We've kind of had all these different planetary beings and knowledge that has come through, and um from all different walks of space, I guess I would say, planted on the earth and said, we get the veil, can't remember anything, and here you go. Just
Enjoy, have fun.
get out there and do
Welcome to the cluster life.
yeah.
Interesting you say that too, because when I was talking to one of my emotion code healers and like things, she's like, who to say Jesus wasn't practicing actual Reiki?
Mhm.
I'm like, that's an interesting take. I could see that. That adds a whole nother twist of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was like in the book that I like the series, it was talking about how a lot of those names within the Bible, that they were actually mystics. And some of them went through like their evolutionary process so fast on this planet because they had such a like, this is what I'm doing, that they jumped into the mystic side of them, and that the veil wasn't there for them for very long, because we can jump past that veiling that we have. We can tap into somewhat the stuff that's beyond us. And I wholeheartedly feel like there are other dimensions. And I remember Sylvia Brown talking about this, and she said, yes,
Yes.
there are more dimensions, in that these people, the reason why we see them once in a while is because they are like, I think she said like the next dimension is like 2 or 3 feet off the ground or something like that. But we're all living in like the same space. We're just,
And that makes sense because if you were to see a ghost, do you ever actually see them walking on the ground?
no.
No, you don't. They're always missing like from their knee down.
Hmm.
So it's totally fascinating to me.
Yeah. And our ability, the other thing with that is that somebody had said, if you practice, those books where you hold them up to your nose and then you pull them out slowly and you
Okay.
get the images. Yeah.
The illusions.
Yes. They say if you can train yourself to do that just normally, that you'll be able to see, even if it's just outlines of the people or like your guides or, your loved ones or whatever that are around you, you'll be able to see them. And they said that if you stare at like a blank wall and you try to look at the space and train your eyes to look at the space in between that, so almost like you're trying to focus on the air, just the negative, empty space, that you will eventually be able to start seeing things. Now, I have done this. I have done it. And I actually have been doing this for a really long time. And it's true. I have seen, it's almost like the air gets smoky. For me, the air gets smoky, and it's not as transparent, and you can kind of see figures that are standing there. For me, it's not like super clear, but I do get the outline. I have had the outlines and stuff like that. And I think sometimes, like when we're first waking up and we see things and then we blink at that
And
certain
it's
time.
gone.
Yeah, I think it's because our eyeballs are still in that kind of focus mode when we're sleeping, and then we open them and we're not like focused on anything yet. And then we blink a couple times to focus. I think that's why they're so prominent when we're like, oh, holy shit.
And then it's gone. Yeah, I work at the VA in Toma. So you can imagine all the atrocities that have taken place there over the years. And I'll be sitting in my office and all of a sudden you'll get like the feeling that someone's like just popping their head in your door and you can see, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, or you see them out of the corner of their eye where you see them like pop in and then they turn and walk. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, you could have came in and said hi.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I know.
super creepy to walk down the halls in the middle of the night because we had them redone and you'll hear footsteps behind you and you'll turn and there's nobody there. Hard to
Mm-hmm.
tell if it's residual or not, but it's kind of like, oh, Interesting.
The
Oh.
the high school up north in well, it's the middle school now. It was originally a high school. I worked there for a cleaning service for quite a while, and the football field that is there was actually an old cemetery, and they had dug it up and they had moved the cemetery. And I think the school's over 100 years old now. It's old. And I would be up there cleaning, my dad too. And I'd be at the other end of the hallway and the bathroom lights were censored and the lights would go on and off in the bathrooms. You constantly hear footsteps behind you. You'd hear locker doors opening and closing. I mean, lots and lots of crazy stuff. It was like there was always somebody following you. And so we had talked to some of the other staff and they're like, oh yeah, we've definitely heard that too. And actually at this point, I wasn't into any of this. Like I knew I could tap in or whatever, but I wasn't into this far. And I honestly did not know about the cemetery part. And then when I found that out, I was like, oh. And I wouldn't doubt that there's still bodies underneath that football field, honestly, because you can't move, you don't get all of them. You know, that cemetery was so old. There's probably still people there. You're muted, Sam.
I
There
was
we go.
muting from the TV and the child. Well, you listen to Common Mystics and that too, or they go on the travels and they find all these different places. And I can't remember where they were, like along the Ohio River, maybe. And they saw soldiers like standing on top of a school.
Yeah. Yes.
And the parking lot, they tried to move all the bodies and then they just thought they got them all and just paved over it with a parking lot. And they're like, nope, nope, you didn't get them all because there are still some hanging out. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Marie, do you listen to them at all? The Common Mystics?
No.
No, they're really good. They go around and they find little stories of history all over the country, and it's really fascinating the stuff that they find, the stuff that's kind of been forgotten or not talked about. And their thing is giving voice to the voiceless. So they're
They
awesome.
they do a thing where they say that their goal in this is to go around and find stories unknown to them but can be verified and
Yeah.
then give voice to the voiceless. And sometimes it's really murders, different military things, missing children. It's pretty interesting.
They're really it's I actually went on their show for last year for their forecasting thing. They're really great ladies. But yeah, I feel like there's frequencies all around us. I feel like we get visited from different planets, people from different planets. And I think the government personally has been hiding a lot of this stuff from us because they're probably using the intelligence for one. But two, I think people lose their minds. Honestly, I think people would lose their minds if they actually found out about everything.
It's out of most people's realm of comfort. Like they don't know what they don't know and they're scared of what they don't understand and they don't know what questions to ask or who to ask.
Yeah, because who do you ask about if people look at you? Well, you come to
But
the rabbit hole is what you do.
you find the right people and then they don't look at you like you've grown a second head and have three eyeballs.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I love this show because we can talk about anything, like the weirdest thing ever, and it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk. Oh my gosh. And honestly, last night, so continuance of all the crazy things that have been happening in my house. I don't know what is going on in my basement. Mike had fallen asleep upstairs. I was downstairs and I was in that dreamy state, like in between, you're kind of awake, kind of asleep. And when there is a being spirit present, I get tingles from head to toe. For me, it's almost like being on laughing gas, that sort of tingle. And I kept getting that in waves and waves and waves. And eventually I was like, okay, get out of my room. You're not allowed in my room. And every single time I went to go run Reiki, I got a pushback twice as hard. And then I was running Reiki on Addie, and Addie is the one that's been seeing all this stuff. And I really got a pushback for her. Like not that I would say evil, but like ick. It was like an ick thing. And it was kind of that same experience that I had where I felt like that whoever that gentleman was that jumped into my body and was reaching for Mike. Um, it was the same feeling as that. So I really feel like I have something open in my basement and people are coming through, but they really like Addie because I really got it when I was trying to put the bubble around her. And eventually, I actually at one point thought I heard fuck you in this. And then I heard some music too, which was really, really weird. And I thought it was really um kind of cool where I knew I was sleeping, but I was very much awake and I was telling whoever it was off, like telling them off, get out of here. You're not allowed in my room. And eventually it finally quieted down. But I was thinking, Kathy had brought up a while ago about how they're trying to keep you tired so you can't fight the important battles, right? Like that sort of thing. And I'm like, I wonder if the reason why when I sleep downstairs, this isn't happening more and more often, and why I wake up so stuffy and so icky and so tired and just blah. I think I'm having almost like a psychic attack at night. And honestly, I almost feel, I know this sounds weird, but reading those books, I kind of feel like I opened something up down here. Like that's when it really started getting weird. So I'm like, I don't know. Me personally, I don't know how to close a portal. Somebody else can come here and do that for me. I'm just gonna sage for now. But I honestly, I know, and it sound like I'm glad we have this little group because the feeling was so intense and so strong. It was almost like they were trying, whoever it was trying to find every little nook and crack it could try to sneak into and like my aura. That's how I felt it was. And I just kept saying, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. And eventually I went upstairs, and when I'm upstairs, I don't feel it. So it made me want to grab my kids too and be like, nah, we're going upstairs. So I don't know exactly what it is. I just know that that's when it's prominent is when I'm in that half awake, half sleep state. And it is kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, what the hell is going on? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know, but I want to share a cool story. I told you before about my son who could see ghosts and things.
Yeah.
And my roommate, if she slept on the couch downstairs, this she always talked about this thing trying to attack her and attack her. Woke up, it's great. I mean, horrible thing all the time, all the time. And this what first I'm a dreamer, so the first thing I ask my kids every morning is, did you have a dream? So I had spoken to Lori, and she said I had a dream, and she said that thing was after me, and John came and killed it. And I thought,
Mm.
oh, that's interesting. And then when I went to wake up John, I said, did you have any dreams? And he said, yeah. He said, something was trying to get Lori and I killed it. And I said, wait a minute. I said, I'm going to give you a piece of paper. I want you to draw what you saw. And I went to Lori. They looked identical. It was
Oh
so
my gosh.
bizarre.
I have chills
So
from head to
bizarre.
toe right now. Oh
I
my
don't
goodness.
know how he did it or what he did, but she never had the issue with that whatever it was again. But that was very unique.
I
Yeah.
Very.
have Jenna Bierman Channeling, I think is her
Yeah.
name.
Yep.
She sent me a couple banishment things when Ruthie was seeing a man sitting on the couch. She had woke up and saw him sitting there, and she's like, he didn't say anything to me, but he was creepy. And people were waking her up. My daughter's very involved, and the littlest one is too, but so she might be someone to reach out to check your portal.
I think maybe I will. But I like, how crazy is it? Like that sort of validation from Marie's story. That's like, okay, how do you wrap your head around that stuff when it happens? You know, like that
Yeah.
stuff we need more of for people to be like, oh, maybe this
Well,
is, just fooey
and
and
how often do two people have the exact same dreams and can draw the exact same thing? And you're like, dude,
Mhm.
what the
It
hell?
was really, really wild. while.
Yeah.
I spoke to Lori about it. I didn't speak to John because John was like first grade probably at the time, second grade. So I didn't have those kind of discussions with them. But I took that picture to her and I said, let me tell you what John dreamt about last night. She thought I drew it. I said, nope, I'm not playing a game here. No.
Oh,
You're like, I wish I were.
right. Some of the things, yeah, some of the things that happen, it's like, oh, wow. Absolutely. Like I had a lady come to me just panicking about a witch doctor being around her and saying that, this witch doctor was sending everybody to the psych hospital and stuff like that. Well, at that point in time, I didn't necessarily believe in so much of that. Like we've talked about before, where I think a lot of it has to do with our negative energy that is following us around, and we like to put labels on it and it'll manifest in a certain way or something that you're afraid of, or, whatever. But the more that I go through this, the more I recognize that there are darker entities, not necessarily completely like evil, but darker entities, just like humans. Some of us are like, we want to heal others and do all the things for others. Some of us are like, no, I want to control everything because it makes me feel good, like Hitler, for instance, right? We have dark entities. So it would make perfect sense that over on the other side or whatever dimension is accessing us, depending on where our frequency is at the time, that they would try to push up on you. Like, is it just for funsies? Are they trying to make you tired? Like, and I feel like people that are very intuitive and open are the ones that get hit the hardest. But also, I feel like the people that are very naive as well are very easy targets because they don't know what's going on with them. They don't know who to turn to. They don't know who to talk to. I mean, even if you go to a church, it's not necessarily for that line of work going to be the same thing as what you need, right? Like sometimes I think we need something a little bit stronger, and people that understand the energetics of things, I think, have a little bit more power. And I firmly believe that this is where witchcraft really did come from. They are our energetic masters. And again, with them, good and bad, good and bad, manipulative or healing other people. So yeah, it's just all of it is just crazy. My mom and I used to be able to have the same dreams as well, or she would know when something's going on. And it must be the mother's intuition thing, but yeah. A really interesting thing that happened the other day, I was laying in bed and I was like, I think it was like 9:30 at night. And I started running Reiki and I was like, you know what? I'm going to include my dad and I'm going to include Kim and a couple other people in there. And I kept repeating in my mind, you are healing, you are healing, you are healing, and sending those vibes to them people. Well, Kim had messaged me the next morning and she's like, yeah, last night I just kept repeating to myself, I am healing, I am healing, I am healing. And I'm like, shut up. And I was like, what time? What time? And I don't think she told me what time it was, but I was like, yeah, I was running Reiki too, because she said that she had felt like a warming sensation and like where she wanted, like what she was trying to heal. And I was like, that is the coolest shit ever. I love that. And she had no idea I was doing that. So I had to, yeah, it was really great.
I have a question for you
Hmm.
concerning Reiki.
Yeah.
What would happen if, like, I see y'all do your symbols or whatever,
Mhm.
What would happen if you did the wrong symbol? Would it be the intention that went through or the symbol? Does that make sense? Do you understand that question?
Um, I believe it would be the intention overrides the symbol. I think the symbol, personally for me, what I believe is that the symbol just kind of amps up the energetics of it. And especially when you're attuned to that energy, because if I just think about Reiki, my hands light up. Like right now, they're already lit up and like we're ready to go, right? So I
Hmm.
think it's just pushing it out further and activating it even further, depending on which area. Because I do have symbols for the spine, I have symbols that are gentler than others, stuff like that. But I also feel like if you're attuned to it, I don't know that you would necessarily have to use a symbol. Now, I know people are probably gonna, if anybody else is listening to this, they'll probably be like, oh my God. But I feel like energy is energy. And I've forgotten to do the distance symbol when I first started a couple of times, and people still felt the energy.
Mhm.
So I think it's an amplifier, the symbols. I think it's just more of a direction of where you're sending it. So intention is everything with energetics. Everything. Yeah. And I think it's really important to remember too that we always hold the power over the energetics in our life. Just like we were talking about with the crap going on when I'm trying to sleep, or with entities coming in and out, or even just within ourselves, we always hold the power. We can say yes. We can say no. If we're starting to see waking up and seeing spirits, guess what? You can say no, I don't want nothing to do with this. Shut it off. And you can shut it off. If you don't want to be intuitive from the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., shut it off. And you can do that, and your guides and whomever will help you in that situation. They will definitely help you. Do I think that we have a few squeaker buys every once in a while? Yeah, that come in because they're just really like persistent. But for the most part, you can control and shut that off. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with your belief too, of being able to do that, believing that you can shut it off. And we do need to be able to shut off that intuitiveness and not be running in it all the time, because it will exhaust you.
I was gonna say it is so freaking exhausting, and that's where I'm at, is trying to get that back again, where I'm not as good as I used to be. But then again, I was also younger, a lot less adult stressors, a lot less
Mhm.
things popping up. And now it's like, oh, like I told you, I really want to get good at my tarot, but it's hard when A, you don't have the support, B, time and
Mhm.
working full time really gets in the way of trying to evolve one's abilities.
Right. Yeah,
Mhm.
because we still got to live life. And when we're not all like, woo, it's, glitter farts and rainbows, it can be really hard to tap in. But too, at the same time, especially when you're in like this learning process, we can be like, okay, I really want to shut it off right now, but I'm still really curious. And so that's when the crosswires kind of happen. And it's like, okay, well, maybe something will come through and you're not fully shutting yourself off. And so that kind of drains your vital energies that you need to be able to tap in. Because a lot of people, when you're doing intuitive work and you're channeling and stuff like that, will feel like after they need to take a nap, they are really, really drained and exhausted. Like when I do an 8-hour event or a 5-hour event, by the time I'm done, I have
It's exhausting.
I have checked so far out. I am like, woo, I am done. I can't even form a thought anymore. And yeah, there's people that need to sleep like a whole day after. Even that guy on Tyler, I think his name is Tyler, when he does his mediumship stuff on the show and things like that on Netflix, he's take the whole day after to himself just to
Ooh,
recuperate.
send me that. Send me that because I just got Netflix.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. It's
Yes.
I keep wanting to say Tyler Perry. It's not Tyler Perry.
No, probably not. Although
Um,
I wouldn't I wouldn't discount it at all.
But yeah, he's been doing live episodes, and it's really amazing to watch. And I love watching him just for different the way things come through for him and how he interacts and stuff like that. I sit and I study it because I'm like, ooh, what maybe that'll work for me. But yeah, running wide open all the time is really, really exhausting. And so realizing that you have the power and you should shut yourself off. And even in life, it actually damages your brain to be going all the time, to be going, always stimulated. It like can permanently damage your brain. So like shutting off for like a half hour, even, and just staring at the ceiling if you need to,
Well,
is
hello,
actually really, really good for you. It's super
my
good.
mom's.
Because a lot of us, I feel like we've all been pre-programmed to think that if we sit down, we're lazy. And we have all the stuff in the back of our minds of, oh, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. This isn't done. That isn't done. You're looking around, something's a mess. You know, it's not perfect. It's not the way that you want it to be. And you got to keep going. And then top it off with like people that have neurodivergence. The more chaotic your life is, the more your brain is going because you're trying to remember everything. So it never, ever shuts off. Because I know if I take a break, I have no idea where I started and where I began. So you kind of like snowball this. And I honestly feel like sometimes we can activate almost a form of neurodivergence because we're constantly stimulated all the time. Our frontal lobes are always, always going. And that's your creativity. That's where your intuition and stuff comes from. That's where like we house so much information there. And that's what we activate when we're constantly in stuff. So being able to take that moment of pause to like integrate right and left brain, give the frontal lobe like a little bit of a break, and really being able to incorporate and integrate everything that is going on through our day and our learning and stuff to get into the like further backer parts of our minds. Oh, I'm just gonna make up words all day today. You all get it. But yeah, we have to do that. We really, really need that. Like take notes. Write your notes. If you're like me, you probably have like 500 stickies and you can't remember where the first one was that you put. So you make another note and then it's like, okay, well, what does this even mean anymore? So I have learned I have to try to like get things done immediately after. Immediately. Otherwise, I am out in left field. So breaks, people, breaks. And also I think the breaks help you control your energy a little bit more as well, because you need to sit and listen to your body and your own personal energy in order to even be able to feel what somebody else's energy feels like, or a spirit's energy by you, any of that. If you're constantly distracted and you don't have the pause, it's hard to identify that sort of thing. Because I think a lot of us walk around and we pick up other people's bodily ailments. We feel it in our body. We feel the adrenaline pumping from somebody else, and now our adrenaline is pumping.
And then it's hard to differentiate. Is it mine or is it theirs?
Yeah.
Like, did this happen suddenly or is it something? Is it mine? Is it truly mine I need to deal with, or do I need to send it back with a little light and love?
Right. Yeah. I always pay attention to that and say, this feels icky. Send it back if it's not mine. It can go. It can go. Because I'll pick up on like my dad a lot of times. He's got a lot of severe body pain, and all of a sudden my back will start hurting really bad, especially in the car. And I'm like, okay, this isn't mine. I have to send it back. Get it out of me. It's icky, icky. And then I thought, how many years have I been doing this? Picking up on people's ickies, and that makes you tired too. So we have everything coming at us from every single different direction that makes us tired human beings. Tired. The raccoon, right? I identify as a raccoon, is it. And then we're eating like crap, all of the stuff that's in our food. Oh man. Let's move to Italy. Y'all ready? I'm ready to
I'll
go.
go.
Well, they're saying that there's stuff like even there's a girl that I work with for mediumship and stuff like that. She's actually from Germany, and she said the food is totally different over there. You can eat and eat and eat and not gain weight. We even look at food in America and we're gaining.
Well, they've talked about that, and JFK, whatever, is really looking at that with compared to the 70s, compared to now. No one was overweight in the 70s. Very, very few people will look at all the crap that's in our food versus European countries. It's ridiculous. America's pharmaceutical companies just wants to make us sick so they can, make us pay more and kill us slowly. So then we need more drugs and spend more money.
Yep, I absolutely agree. And they're talking about like even for bread, for instance, they used to, when they were going to make bread, take their little wheats and go and get it milled right away and it's got all the stuff in it that you need for the healthy stuff. Well, in order to make it processed, they took all of that out so it can sit and have a shelf life, higher shelf life. And now we're eating that, and that turns straight to gluten. Where overseas, they still have the ancient grains there, and it does not do the same thing at all. They have extracted a lot of stuff out of our food. And then you think, okay, well, how do I even try to eat healthier? Because even the most basic of ingredients like flour, making things from home, is still processed. So where do you start? Yeah. I've spent a lot of time thinking like, okay, well, where do I even go with this? Because if I just get flour and I make my own bread, the flour is still icky. That's the basis of the bread. And then my mind starts going, and then what's in our soil, is it even good anymore to grow crap at home? Like where are the seeds coming from? Can we even get anything that is like natural anymore? Or is it all just tainted now? All of
Not
it.
here. It's all tainted. Are you okay? Did you fall? Go owies? Did
Yeah.
you fall? Get owies? Oh, little one. What
It's
hurts?
crazy and scary at the same time. And then you create
Oh.
a whole lot more fear mongering on top of it, because now you're worried about that too. What am I putting into my body today? What is it going to do to me in the future? And I have to say, I just had a relative that passed, and he passed from Agent Orange. Granted, I mean, he was in the military, and I know up in Marinette Menominee area in the 60s, they were testing Agent Orange. And we had in that area so much cancer in our grandparents and stuff like that. Weird cancers too. And it can sit in your body and it can activate at any given time. Now he was in his 80s and he was diabetic, and something activated it, and it turns into a really bad infection, and it slowly eats away at you essentially. And how crazy is it that forever chemicals, can sit in your body like that and activate at any given time? Like it's like it sits and waits for your body to be at like low defense and gets you. I don't it's when my grandma had told me that, my mind was completely blown. Like, what? You would think that would be something that would happen like much sooner and a lot earlier with that sort of thing. No, it can be at any time, is what the doctor had said.
Well, it makes you wonder too, is our food and the chemicals being put in that having some kind of gene activation too? Because
Hmm.
look, my hairstylist, she is 37, 38. She has metastatic breast cancer.
Hmm.
37 years old, has a 15-year-old daughter. The daughter had already, excuse me, lost her dad, and now she's gonna lose her mom too. Like,
It's sad.
it's gotta be something with exposure, food. I mean, our environment, if we can't control what we're putting in our bodies because someone else is controlling it for us, is there really a safe and healthy way? Really hard unless someone decides to fight the fight with enough billions of dollars to be successful.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to be where we can actually fight something like that, just simply because people love the ease of life. We're all working so much. We're all hustling. We're all trying to keep our lives together because it's so fast paced. We don't have time to sit and actually relax and do the things that we need to do and disconnect from the electronics and disconnect and like make our own food and all of that stuff, because a lot of times it takes two people to even keep a home afloat, where it used to be where mom stayed home with the kids. And so you had more time to do that stuff, right? And also it's a lost art. People don't know how to do any that stuff anymore. We've completely eradicated it within two generations. It's gone. The art of gardening and all that stuff, for a lot of people, because we're reliant on the way America is run. Are we ever really going to get back to where we can be fully healthy? And if they do take that stuff away, that's making us sick. I don't know that we would. Food isn't going to have the shelf life, right?
Hmm.
Everything would change, and I don't think we'd be able to keep up with it. if that makes sense. I think it would be almost more chaos. So yeah, realistically, how the hell do you get away from it? There's few of us that know how to do stuff like that, but there's not enough. There's not enough people. People rely on other things too much to keep their lives going, especially when you have to hustle all the time, when you're busy doing things. It's hard.
Yeah, I know how to make my own sourdough bread, but it takes time and a daily commitment and then hours to get the folds in and the rise and then the refolds. And it's
Mm-hmm.
literally a 4 day of planning process to make a loaf of sourdough bread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You just don't have everything is fast paced and you don't have time.
Yay! Num nums.
Snack time? Yeah.
She's been wanting food from me, and I keep telling her to go up and see Daddy. Daddy will get her pizzas, and now she's got her pizzas. Pizza.
Ooh.
Nom noms.
Oh, I love it.
Ah, and that little tongue. Come here, buddy. Come
Addie
on.
does that too.
Oh,
Tongue torn.
there she is. Little blonde bombshell. Yeah, Mama's right there too. Yeah, you see me? That's Kayla. Can you wave hi? Can you wave? She's like, nope. I don't
Mhm.
know you, lady.
She does the same thing my kids do when they come on. They just kind of stare and make goofy faces. It's so cute. Oh, yes. So that I think will be what we talk about today. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, we're nearing the end of our time. And really, for the next meeting, we should sit and think about like how we can disconnect, what it is that we can do like personally to get
Oh,
away.
goodness. I talk about this stuff for my veterans and my groups. I could bring handouts.
Do so. Like if when I post this, post it in the comments or whatever. Post that stuff in the group because people love this. They love to be able to hear it and have resources and all of that.
Yeah, I think I have some saved to my drives at work. I can just see how many I can upload. Oh, look, now we're waving.
I really feel like even the little things that we can incorporate into our lives so much. Helps so much. Small changes equals big changes all the time. And it really just popped into my head. And I know we can't go down another rabbit hole, but like, why is it illegal that we can't collect rainwater? Why the hell is that illegal? That drives me crazy. Like, if you get busted with a bucket underneath your little thing, you can get in trouble. Yeah. Mike was asking a question, but yeah, so that's the other thing. A lot of things are illegal that we should be able to, you know, control ourselves.
Yeah.
Power and control and money.
Power, control, and money. Yeah, it's unfortunate. And it is the basis of everything. It is that good old root chakra and the yellow chakra, our solar plexus and our sacral chakra. That's where a lot of America is derived from. That is how we grow up, the ones that we have to go through. And you can clearly see where we are sitting with everything. And it's very interesting. So we're going to keep doing the good work. We're going to keep fighting back with frequency work and doing all that stuff. And we're going to keep plugging along. And I always say this, like everybody's little world is their own little illusion. And we change things by doing our own personal work. And you know what? In this lifetime, you are meant to be selfish. You are meant to be selfish. You are meant to do the things that are meant for you. So do it.
Never hear that in the church.
Nope. No, you will not.
Good old Catholic upbringing. Everyone
Yeah.
else comes first.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you should be selfish. Like you can't, it kind of goes back to that filling your own cup first before you can help anybody else. That's the basis of being selfish, like being able to say no, being able to do what makes you happy. I mean, obviously there's a fine line between being like a jerk and being able to take care of yourself, but as in being selfish, it is not selfish to fulfill your own needs first and to do the things that make you happy. You want purple hair, go dye your freaking hair purple, right? Do it. Why not? Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your life. Those are the little tiny juicy little bits that we need to get us through what it is to be human, because there's always some sort of pain or something running in the background, and that's part of being human and the human experience. So we need those little moments of joy here and there. We need to come back to that and know that it's okay. And experiment with things too, right? You want to make sourdough bread? Do it. If you don't complete it, don't be hard on yourself. You know, like if you can't keep with something, it's okay, right? We're moving along. We're not going to sit and beat ourselves up over and over and over again. So, yes, my words of wisdom for the week. Enjoy life. Enjoy it. Just don't cut your bangs, okay? Okay. Oh, have Sarah do it. Sarah does hair. Don't cut your own.
Oh, good. Where does Sarah live? Because I need to update mine.
She's a Marinette.
Ah,
Yeah,
Lacrosse is a little bit of a ways.
it is. It is. Are you at the
Yeah.
salon right now, Sarah? Yeah. I love it. Oh, hold
That's
on.
Kayla.
I can't unmute you. Can you do it now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So I'm at Glam for Grands right now. Wait. Okay. There we are. I'm at Glam for Grands right now. And yesterday, a resident's wife came in and said, "Can you do his hair tomorrow?" Blah blah. I said, "Sure." Well, he was my last person, and he was supposed to come, and the aides were like, "The wife is going to want to be here." I'm like, "What?" And they said, "The wife will want to be here." I said, "I ain't doing this." So then I went. I said, "I'm leaving. Take him off the schedule. I'm not wasting my time." So I went and brought the schedule back, and then the aides brought him, and I said, "Nope, go." I said, "I already wrote on the paper that the aides did not want to bring him down, that the wife wanted to be here." I said, "So you guys can deal with this.
Yeah. Yep.
I ain't doing it."
And that's part of being the selfish thing, right? Like, no.
I'm selfish with my time. I've been working 10, 12-hour shifts for 3 days. I'm exhausted. I ain't playing these games.
Yep. And that's okay. And this is exactly what we're talking about, is that is okay to do that stuff. We need to do it more and more and more. Like, nope, this is my time, because everybody's time is so freaking valuable. So you can't get it back. You cannot.
I'm exhausted. I slept in a bathtub. I've been sleeping in bathtub at night in Epsom salt because I'm so sore and tired. Like, no.
Yep.
That was all. So yeah, I do hair.
I love it.
Up, up.
All right. I'm muting you again though.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, ladies. Well, I hope you all have a really fantastic Sunday, and we'll talk again soon. All right?
See, bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.